Deb and I are going to pass the mic a few times during this presentation, and you know, we've been working together since 2007 on this project, and I'll go through a timeline to show, you know, where has that time gone and all the different benchmarks of the project. So bear with us as we go back and forth. This is a photo, you know, early on after we were awarded the project and we got the bankers boxes and we started, you know, not really doing our research into what's happened before. You know, it's great to have this opportunity to do a master plan, but we wanted to carefully study all the past plans to know what worked, what didn't, and so we can use those ideas and not just shelve them, you know, in a banker's box in the basement somewhere. So we pulled those out along with, you know, looking at many different parks, and this was the first part of the process that we involved the public, in some sense starting from scratch. We really, since this is a man-made island, there was prairie out there that the park district planted after the runways were gone, but at the same time we really were charged to rethink what this could be as a civic park for Chicago and the region. So here's a timeline. I don't know how legible it is, but the colors represent, the green is times of design and digging in and developing the framework plans. So the project began, it was awarded to JJR in 2007, at the end of 2007, and then we hit these series of public meetings. There were a lot of different stakeholder groups working closely with the mayor's different task forces, both looking at natural areas and how we could bring, you know, the music venue, integrate all these different activities, but at the same time make the habitat we wanted for fish and birds and balancing all those systems. So bringing this project in its early stages to many different task forces was a big part of the process. The red is more where we were kind of paused, we were down. So you can see after we started designing, there was Mayor Daley's bid for the 2016 Olympics, and that sort of we held out while we went through the process of that, and as we know, Northerly was going to be a major venue for the Olympics. So here's one of their renderings that was released. So it was beach volleyball, canoeing and kayaking and sailing, and so we were involved in this process and helped look at how the different slalom courses could work in this venue, but as we all know, we will not be the host of the 2016 Olympics, so that pause, you know, right after that, we were remobilized to move forward with some of the different plans. These are just shots from a few different public design charrettes we had. The process was really interesting, hosting these different events, meeting all the people that showed up. It was, you know, great to learn that Chicago has a strong windsurfing community, and they were really looking at Northerly to be a hub of their activity. We had great advice from kayakers who described this as a place where they could, if they could paddle up to it as they go all the way up the North Shore, this would be a great resting spot, and the way the rock formations and different softening of the edge would you know, call them to the edge and be a great spot for them. There were also people who would show up at the meeting saying, you know, I parked my boat here, I just am here to see where I'm going to park my boat, and everybody was welcome, and those were useful comments. So as Deb will go through kind of the 4 different options we presented, we tried to think some of the success of the meetings came from allowing people to point out what they liked and what they didn't. It wasn't just, you know, take this plan or leave it. It was, do you like a bridge here? Do you live in the neighborhood? Would you use that bridge? What kind of sports do you do? How could you imagine using these different pieces of the island? Northerly is a mile long, so as we'll get into, there's, you know, a lot you could do with a mile. We don't have to just make it all green or make it all paved. We found that, you know, there's so much diversity in the activities people want to do, so how can we satisfy everybody?